Renee, it is such a pleasure to be speaking with you today. I'm so excited for this conversation. Thank you so much for being here.
Sandee, it is really an honor and a pleasure, and I am so grateful to be here. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. And I just have to laugh because we just went over how to pronounce your last name. And as soon as I started recording, I'm like, I'm going to mess it up.
It's because we put it in our head, right? We think, oh my God, now what? Yeah.
Right. Renee Reisch.
Reisch. You got it.
Right. Because I go like rice, but Reisch. And then in that moment, I was like, oh,
which one is it?
Complete blank. Yeah. Complete blank.
You're good.
I love your story and the fact that you're a 4-time #1 bestselling author and founder of Finding Your Voice. And just the whole concept of finding your voice, there's so many levels to that and so many places we can go. But for you, it's part of your story. So can you share with the audience your story? Because it's really quite remarkable.
Absolutely, Sandee. Thank you again. It is something that I never would have anticipated embarking upon. You know, we never really know our purpose when we come into this life. We, go to school, work, college, whichever order, college and then work. A lot of people do that. And I did that too. And while I was in my corporate job, I got pretty sick to the point of losing my own voice and hearing from doctors, I may never speak again. It might be permanent damage. I can't even tell you what that meant. It was something I didn't even realize was happening. When things I believe don't happen necessarily to you, they happen for you. We hear that all the time. In the moment, it was happening to me. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. It was happening to me. I was miserable. I was in a depression. I didn't know what to do. It was all about me at that point because I didn't know. It was that not knowing. I was isolated. I was not allowed to be with my family, the public. I couldn't go back to work. I sometimes joke around and I say that LOA at that point was leave of absence because I was in corporate America. Today, LOA has a completely different meaning. It's law of attraction. And I didn't even realize what I was attracting into my life because I didn't speak up. I was afraid of fear of judgment, limiting beliefs, low self-esteem, low self-worth. I looked for the outside validation for my own worth, my own inner self-worth. And I equate it to the story of Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. I know I just dated myself. But for those who don't know what that is, Google it. You'll find out.
What are you talking about? That's a timeless movie.
It is. I think so. That's my story. Let's stick to it. That story anyway. So it was really, if you think about it, Dorothy, the main character, was going to the lands of Oz. She was thrust in by this nightmare dream that she had. And it took her into this faraway place. And she was looking to go back home. Along her journey, she came across the Scarecrow looking for a brain, the Tin Man looking for the heart, the Cowardly Lion looking for courage. And she had, of course, Toto, her companion dog, with her. If you think about in life, we all have those things there inside of us. She didn't need to go to the land of Oz to talk to this mighty Oz to find what she needed. It wasn't the ruby slippers that she needed to click her heels 3 times and say, I want to go home. Home really is where the heart is. And when you're looking outside of yourself to find what's always been there, you can't find it outside. It's in here. I believe in my situation that I had. It was always looking for that shiny object, that award, that yay you, because I didn't see it. Who was I looking to prove it to?
Right.
It was me all along. It was my own worth, my own value. Looking inside of me to find what was always there and already there. Not looking to find outside validation for it.
I love that. And I want to go back to what you said, because it's something that we hear so often, but it's very hard to understand. And that is things happen for you, not to you. And I just want to remind the audience that when you're in a situation where something is happening to you, because that's how it's showing up, and it may feel awful and icky and devastating, it's just so important to feel those feelings, right? Because you have to go through that pain in order to get to the other side when you're like, oh my gosh, this happened for me, not to me. So I always love to throw that out there because I don't want anybody that's going through something really horrible to feel like, no, you know, because it's
100%.
hard, right? Because sometimes you are in that victim mentality, and it's totally okay because you have to go through that of feeling like a victim and working through those emotions in order to get to the other side. So how long did that take for you? Because I know it was kind of a long process.
Great question and great insight as well, because it is a process. And so often we want to go from A to Z and just get me through this, just get me where I need to be so I can get on with my life. But how do you get on with your life if you're not learning the lessons that are being presented to you in your life? And I just wanted to go to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. And I never stopped. And I'm going to segue for a moment because it really kind of goes to what you're saying, what you're asking me.
Perfect.
I have a best friend who's now watching over me from heaven. And I know she is because I feel her. And she used to tell me not really tell me, kind of express it in a very vocal way to slow down. She raised her voice to me and said, slow down. And I didn't listen. I said, no, I have to do this. I have to do that. I've got to get this done. I've got to get this. And I never listened to her. I didn't listen. Like, I need to do all these things. I need to. And go. And in my book, which I know we'll talk about, I even wrote that I look forward to days off, not to say, it's a day off. I look forward to days off to see how much more I could get done. So when I went back to work the next day or 2 days later, whatever the schedule was going to be, because it was retail and it was always varied, that I would be able to be present for my team and not have to do any extra thing because I did the extra stuff on my days off. So I would really plan out my days off to do more work rather than to breathe through them and say, let me recuperate from the days that I just had. I never took time for me, the self-care. I never did it. It was always going, instead of being so I could become.
Oh, I love that, being so you could become. Write that down, folks. That's awesome.
It was really that. So you asked how long it took. Really, it took, in the physical way, it took 4 months that I was isolated, that I was not allowed to be back at work because I was so contagious. My vocal cords were riddled with sores. I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink. I couldn't swallow my own saliva. It was that painful. So I really felt like I was wasting away, hence falling into a depression because I wasn't able to be with my best friend, my parents, my family. I couldn't go out. So it was really being surrounded and stuck in the four walls and stuck within my own muck of, I feel like that chrysalis stage of becoming a butterfly. You start out crawling, then you go into the ooey gooey stage of the chrysalis where you're transforming until you're ready, because the chrysalis stage, if you look it up, it's all different for different butterflies, but everyone's the same. It could last longer or shorter. And mine was a 4-month chrysalis stage. I'm going to say I'm still evolving because I believe,
Of course.
Spiritual beings having a human experience, we always are. And I am no different. So that being said, it did take physically the 4 months, and then I actually went back to work, and I was out for 2 more weeks because I went back too soon. And I ended up having another bit of an infection, and I had to be isolated again. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh my
So
goodness.
yeah, I wanted to get back in. Let me just get better. And I even wrote in the book that I made promises. I made promises to my best friend. I made promises. Now, whether you want to say God, source, universe, whatever that is, I made promises to God. I would be better. I would do better. I would take time out for myself. And I'm going to tell you, I did. In the beginning, until I didn't. I felt, old habits die hard. I felt right back into those behaviors, the patterns, because I'd been living those patterns all my life. So it was more of a stretch to do different and take care of me and take breaks, because it was such an awful experience of having sores. It was, if you think about strep throat, just like 10x it. You just don't want to be here anymore. It was just too painful. But every day when I woke up, and it wasn't even days, it was in the middle of the night, I wake up in the middle of the night crying because I must have swallowed, and yet I never heard the tears of my pain because I had no voice. It was just the salt water from my tears coming down my face. It was such an intense time that I didn't know what to do. There was no cure from Western medicine. So I was like, well, how'd you get better? What happened? It wasn't losing my voice, Sandee. That was the beginning of the journey of finding my voice.
I love that.
Amazing.
I love that. So many people to this day are still like you, where they're just doing. I used to be like that as well, and didn't take time for self-care. And I do today, sometimes too much. And then the next day I'm like, oh, I could have gotten more done yesterday, but it's okay. Right.
Right. Don't beat yourself up. Right.
Right. Exactly. Do you find, or looking back on that, do you think that was a way to escape?
That's another great question. Not knowing, hindsight's 20/20. I say with or without my glasses.
Right.
That it probably was, but I didn't physically escape. I needed to have time to recoup, rest and just be, as I said, so I could be calm. But I didn't realize that. It's not like I had taken vacation days here and there or gone away for a couple of days here and there. But I never really took time for me. It was always running through life. My best friend used to say, you're running through life. You're just going through it. And I never stopped, as I said, to be so I could be calm. And when you do that, then you really have a different perspective on things because you actually have time for yourself to look at that and take an introspective look on things. So it makes a big difference.
Great answer. Love that. So finding your voice, as I started out this conversation, you can put that analogy so many ways. There's so many levels to this. At the core of what you do and what you work with your clients and whatnot, what do you find most people when they're like that? Like, why are most people attracted to that message? Like, is there a common thing or does it show up differently for everybody?
I believe it shows up differently for people because it has, for me, it reared I would say its ugly head because I wasn't listening. I didn't listen to all the signs that were there. I never stopped to listen until I had to. I couldn't do anything but just be still, be in my own muck. I had to sit in the crud, and it wasn't pretty and it wasn't fun. And I believe it is different for everybody, but the thing that's the same is to experience it. You can't grow through, and I say we grow through what we go through. And There's no way you can grow through anything like this to this level if you don't experience it. It's through the filter of our own lens that we place those different, judgments upon ourselves. And I was judging myself through everything. Nothing was good enough. I was never good enough, and I could never be enough. The more I did, the more I needed to do to go to the next thing and the next thing and be better and better and better. And never give myself a pat on the back for all that I was doing and being in those moments. I was never mindful or present. It was always the next thing. And when you're chasing the next thing, you're never giving yourself space and grace to be where you are and to be happy where you are and to congratulate yourself for who you are.
Beautifully said. Can you repeat what you just started out with, though, when you were talking about grow?
We grow through what we go through.
We grow through what we go through. I just wanted to take a minute to emphasize that because it's so brilliant.
Thank you.
Allergies are starting to hit me a little earlier this year than normal.
I know. I get it.
But we grow through what we go through.
Yes.
We grow through what we go through. I love that. And I have to write it down.
I say this because of my own growth. And I'm able to do the coaching that I do and the speaking that I do today because of the experiences. Not that yes, I'm a psychology major. I'm a Bachelor of Arts and Sciences in Psychology. But I'm going to share something with you. There's not one class that I took in college or exam that I passed that would have given me the insight and the foresight to serve others, the leaders today, that I can if it were not for the experiences that I went through and was able to grow through on my own. You can't, it's not the book text that I could say, do this, this, and this. It was because of the things I experienced that I'm able to share this insight with others.
I love that because it's so true. No matter what you've gone through, that's how we grow.
Absolutely.
That's how we grow. So let's talk about your books.
Thank you.
4-time #1 best-selling author. That's a huge accomplishment. It's huge if you can do it once. 4 times is even more incredible.
Thank you.
So we don't have time to dive into all of your books, but which book would you say you're most proud of, and one that, like, if you're going to read any of my books, you got to read this one?
This is the one. It was launched February 3rd, which was just a few years ago, February 3rd, 2020. And as we're doing this interview today, and this is Finding Your Voice, Unlock Your Chains, and Unleash Your Greatness. Because it's all about finding your voice. It's really a practical, a tactical guide to finding your voice in business and in life, both personally and professionally. Because I feel this is more, it's like a Chicken Soup for the Soul book, if anybody's familiar with any of those books. Because each chapter, and they're so short, it's an 83-page book with 11 chapters, like a couple of pages for each chapter, right? And what I did is after each chapter, it's a story unto itself. So it's not like the sad saga of this girl that got sick. I did not want to write that because I wouldn't want to read it. If I wouldn't want to read it, I'm not writing it for anybody else to read. So what I did is I took the experiences I had and I put them into a guide, into this book, into finding your voice. So there are parts where you will laugh and say, that's so funny. I can't believe she shared that with us. And then there's other points where you'll go, that's so sad. I can't believe this girl felt that way about herself. But with each one, you'll be able to find your own voice. And at the end of each chapter, I have what's called a takeaway section. And these takeaway sections, or it's a way for me to hold your hand through the journey of finding your voice, because I leave 3 to 4 line pages. You don't necessarily have to fill it out all at once. In fact, you don't need to fill it all at once, because this way you can go through it and grow through your own experiences and see on 2/16/23, how did I answer that question? A month later, 3 months later, how would I answer it today? Oh, wow, I forgot. This last time is when this was happening in my life. I forgot all about that. I just didn't realize how much growth I had. I didn't give myself the credit because we're always comparing ourselves to other people. And I also talk about, and I wrote an article not that long ago about people's real life, the REEL, versus the REAL in their life. People don't post on social media the REAL. They're quick to do a highlight reel of their life. Right. And then you are scrolling through it. We are scrolling through and go, oh my God, how do I compare to that? I'll never be that. They're not good enough. The comparison, all of those things that you feel, the imposter syndrome. How can I put myself out there? How can I put my stuff out there? I'm not even close to what that person's done. And then you don't. You don't. And then what? Well, this is your dream. How many people are in a cemetery right now with a dream that they never lived? Yeah. Because they were afraid to put themselves out there. Yet their story is one that's never been told. I know my story, as it relates to me, it may be personal to me, but how many others out there listening to this podcast are feeling that, oh my God, that's me. I was in corporate America as a leader, yet never speaking up for myself. especially as a leader. What happens if I say what I'm really thinking? What happens if I've got to be the cheerleader? I've got to be the rah-rah girl. I can't speak up until I couldn't speak up because I had no more voice. So although my story is the physical loss, I believe it was the metaphoric loss of my voice in my life. The fear of judgment, the people pleasing, the not ever feeling good enough that manifested into my physical world, in my personal life, in my professional life. How many others are feeling that too?
Right. And, you were given probably many signs that you weren't even aware of. One was your friend telling you got to slow down. And when we're ignoring all of those signs around us, I really believe that God, the universe, whatever you call it, is, because they're giving you little warnings. Okay. Whether it's you're not eating right or, you're getting out of breath a lot. And then all of a sudden you have a heart attack, right? You had some warning signs there. And when you don't take the action that you really need to take, it's going to happen to you.
And it did.
Right?
My this is all choked up there. In a very painful way.
Yeah.
Like I said, my vocal cords, when I was in the urgent care before I ended up in ER, the one day, because I said I felt like there was a sore throat, like a sore in my throat, and she said there was. Then the next day it like exploded into all these sores. And my best friend took me back there. The first day I went by myself, the second day she drove me there because I was just in so much pain. And she said, get her to the ER. She never told me how many sores there were. It literally exploded. It gave birth into my throat. And we ended up in the ER. You just don't know what happens to your own body. People get migraines. They get, ulcers. Why is that happening? What is it about? Pay attention to your body. It records things that have taken place in our life. And take action. Take action what you're feeling. Reach out. I mean, I do this coaching, I do speaking for a reason because it's not about me.
Right.
But it's how I can serve those needing to hear this story because it resonates so much with so many. You may be at a different point in your life or maybe you have experienced something, whether it's at work or in a relationship or the relationship with yourself. Where in your life are you not being truthful? You may not even realize it. What in your life is going on right now? In your relationship with yourself, in your relationship at work, with others, with your peers?
Yeah.
What is it that you're not sharing?
Yeah. Wow. This has been such an amazing conversation. Is there anything else that you didn't talk about that you'd like to bring up with the audience? And please let everybody know how they can find you.
Thank you so much. So I have the Finding Your Voice Network. That is, it's a free Facebook group. It's a private group. Please come on in. Let me know that you heard about it through this talk. I would love to share our voices together. If you're interested in doing coaching, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's to your team at work, whether it's to speak to your company, let me know. Because it is sharing our voices, sharing our stories, elevating, uplifting others. Leadership. How do you be a leader? How do you express your voice? How do you elevate your teams to the next level? Reach out to me. I come from a corporate background. I know what that is like.
Yeah.
We became number one in the district, the region, the company, in the country because I was able to connect with them on a level that not many did.
Yeah.
So reach out. Let me know. So whether it's coaching, speaking, whatever that looks like, reach out to me. Let me know. I'm happy to connect with you. The book, get the book. There's the ebook. There's the Kindle version. There's an audio version of it as well. But there's also the physical. And I really ask if you could pick up the physical because it's I think $9.19 on Amazon right now. because you get to write. I believe what comes up comes out. You get to
Oh,
see
yeah.
your own journey. If it's an audio, that's great. You might want to listen to it while you're on the treadmill or going doing your thing, because people receive information different ways. It could be the audio version. It could be the Kindle while they're in bed, on their Kindle. That's fine. The ebook. But there's nothing more special than taking pen to paper and writing the answers out, where you can actually see your own progress. So maybe get different ones. Maybe get the ebook, get the Kindle, and the
Right.
video, however you receive information. But pick up a copy today. You will be so happy you did. And reach out to me. It's Renee at reneereisch.com. It's my email. Let me know it's from this interview. It's Sandee. And you just reach out, however it is, through the group. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. Instagram is at Reisch Renee, ReischRenee. On LinkedIn, it's Renee Reisch. On Facebook, it's Renee Reisch. So please look me up, reach out. Let's share our voices together. We're here to make a difference in this world. And let's share our voices and find your voice in this moment.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And for all the listeners out there, all the information on how to reach Renee will also be in the show notes. So if you're driving, wait till you can pull over, and then you can take a look at that and reach out to Renee that way as well.
Sandee,
so thank you so much.
You're so welcome. There's one more thing. I do also
please do.
have a course that I've created. It's the Voice Blueprint. We are all born with a blueprint in this life. And this Voice Blueprint takes you from vulnerability to empowerment in the journey of finding your voice. So I'm happy to share that as well. And let's talk.
Love it. Oh my gosh. Finding your voice blueprint. That sounds incredible. Oh my goodness. This has been such a great conversation. So happy that you have come into my life, and we're going to do so many amazing things together. And thank you everybody for listening today as well.
Sandee, thank you so much. And thank you to your listeners. I am honored and just privileged to be here. And I look forward to doing more with you. Have a beautiful, blessed day.
Love it.